Good morning and welcome to your Monday Morning Minute. Have you ever heard the phrase, seeing is believing, and what you see is what you get? Well, I don't know if that's completely true. And I want you to understand this, that what we see does not actually equate always to what's out there, because the only way we're able to see is with our mind. I want to give you a quick example of this. Watch this quick video clip and tell me what you think this looks like when you first see it, because to me it looks like a simple little birdhouse. Tell me what you think. Okay, so maybe it's not a birdhouse. Maybe it's something else. Obviously, as you watch the video, you can see that, it really wasn't a birdhouse in the first place, but your brain said it absolutely was a birdhouse. So what's the deal? We should know a little bit more about our world and vision, because seeing is not believing. Believing is just believing. Seeing is nothing more than taking in bits of information, and then your brain has to assemble something, an image, a visual image with it. Is it always accurate? Is it always correct? Does it always bring us some sense of ease or joy? Or does it bring us anger and resentment? I don't know. It depends on what your brain actually sees. So let's discuss how the actual brain works in the first place. The back of the brain is filled with neurons in an area called the visual cortex. And your two eyes send about 2 billion bits of information to your visual cortex every second. Contrast that to the rest of the entire body that only sends 1 billion bits of information to the brain per second. And at least 2/3 of the processing power of the human brain is based on creating visual imagery for your brain based on the outside world. So the brain itself will construct whatever it feels like. And I want to give you another quick example of this. What you're going to see now is just a bunch of pink circles with some lines in them. And then those lines or those circles are going to shift just a couple of degrees. And I want you to have a look at it and see what your brain says about it. Okay, pretty interesting, huh? You were looking at a two-dimensional image because it was basically flat. But as soon as the discs rotated, you saw a three-dimensional cube. Three-dimensional cube. But remember, there's no dimension here. There is no three dimension. It's two dimensions. It stays two dimensions. How can you take a two-dimensional image and all of a sudden turn it into a three-dimensional image? That's the power of the human brain. It did it for you. And no matter what you think when you first see it, the reality is it shifts because the brain constructs your visual world. You're living in a visual, virtual reality. Your brain just decides what it wants to see, how it wants to see it. I want to give you one more quick example. Take a look at this. This looks like, or is, a Rubik's Cube. Simple Rubik's Cube sitting on a desktop on a piece of paper. Take a good look at this one. Just watch this video clip. Okay, so as we can see, it is not a Rubik's Cube. It's nothing more than a piece of paper with ink on it. And as you rotate the image, you take a two-dimensional picture and you turn it into a three-dimensional image. And you're not trying to do it, the brain does it. The brain is constructing your world for you. Okay, now after saying all of this, what's the point? That what your brain constructs does not always represent what's really going on around you. And this can have a negative impact on you if you don't pay attention to this. So this brain is like working hard to decide what it wants to see, but you don't particularly know if it's real or not real. So how will we know what the brain is actually going to construct? What is it based on? Why do I see it this way and somebody sees it another way? How come I see it as a light teal, somebody sees it as a deep blue? Why is that? Well, it's based on our prior experiences, what we've lived through, the suffering we've had, our education, where we grew up. There are all these integers that allow us to see the world or to construct our virtual world based upon our experience. I want you to think of this. How many times have we heard about a UFO landing on Madison Ave in New York City? It never happens. Why not? It's not supposed to happen. It's never happened. People don't equate that. No one ever thinks this way. But what would happen if you were in the Rocky Mountains in Colorado or in a cornfield in Iowa? In the middle of the evening, middle of the night, all of a sudden you see a white light. Oh my God, it's a UFO. I 100% believe that I saw a UFO. Have you ever watched the show on, I can't think of the channel right now, but it's Finding Bigfoot? I mean, holy crud. My son and I watch that sometimes, just for the entertainment factor. We don't believe a dang thing anyway. Just kind of funny to laugh about it. But these people all know what Bigfoots do. What kind of sounds they make, what their diet is, how they eat, how they reproduce. They know all these things, and then they portray it to us. And here we are going, what? We don't have any evidence anywhere, nowhere that it ever has there been the existence of a Bigfoot. But we have plenty of people that come out and say it. And every time you see it on the news, where do you see that it is? Or the news or TV? It's some remote area where their brain says, hey, this could be the place for a Squatch. Next thing you know, boom, I saw one. And they'll believe it so much that they could pass a polygraph test. That they'll live their whole life wearing t-shirts of Bigfoot. They are 100% invested in seeing something that actually isn't even there. That their brain says it's there. And why did their brain tell them that it was there? From all these prior experiences. And all this is based on your perception. Oh, there you go, Dr. Prococo, right back to perception. Of course it always is. Perception is key. You might say, well, how do I ensure that I'm getting the most accurate representation of my visual world? Instead of sitting back and living in your virtual world of what you believe. Holy crap, I gotta tell you this, think of this. If you believe something so heartedly, like vodka makes you vomit. I mean, yeah, I drank it and I vomited. So therefore, I am on a pilgrimage to tell the world the damaging effects of vodka. But what you didn't realize is that you ate 4 or 5 ugly hot dogs before you drank the vodka. So you didn't vomit because of the vodka per se, you vomited because of the damn hot dogs. If that's the way you see it, then guess what? You could actually go back and try to have a cocktail and be okay with it. But I can tell you this, you have that vodka, your mind believes and your brain constructed within it that vodka equals vomiting, you're gonna vomit. But was it the vodka or was it our brain? Is our brain the key? Of course it's the key, it's always been the key. So remember this, that what you see may not be the truth. But as long as your perspective is driven to see it that way, your brain will construct your visual, virtual reality within the scope of your perspective. So this week, I want you to think of this. When something comes up that's important that you want to interpret, don't do it alone. And don't fly off the handle immediately because what you see is wrong. Somebody just did something that's wrong. Watch a hockey game. Guy punches the guy in the head. That's wrong. Put him in the box. Now we hate that guy. We hate him like crazy because of what he did to our player. But you didn't see 5 minutes ago or 5 seconds ago before that when our player smacked him in the back of the head with a hockey stick. Don't always believe what you see because the brain is just constructing bits of information based upon who you are and your experience. So sometimes we need a little help with our perspective so that we can see our world more accurately. First thing that happens this week, something that comes up that needs your interpretation, that you have to apply a meaning to, relax a little bit at first. Don't jump on it right away. Take a good look at it. Try to decide what it is you're seeing, why you're seeing it, and what does it mean within the context of your life. That might take you 10, 20 seconds. And then share it with someone else because they have another whole host of experiences within their life. And therefore, their perspective is different than yours. What they see visually is actually different than yours, right? So while you're navigating through this world, try not to stay alone. Ask the opinions of others and what their perspective is. I'm not saying you have to adopt theirs, but remember that your brain may be constructing images and meanings that aren't actually true. And if they're not true, they're going to make it difficult for you to navigate through life. It might make your relationships more difficult because your opinion is always right, when in essence, in time, you might find that you are wrong. And it cost you dearly. It might have cost your relationship. It might have cost you money. It might have cost you the most important thing of all, peace, joy, and happiness. And you begin to develop this perspective and this visual cortex, this visual brain that sees the world as a big, everything you see sucks. You see t-shirts and stuff, life sucks, then you die. Where does that come from? People who see the world in an inappropriate way. They just don't seem to be able to construct a virtual world that makes any sense. So this week, as I've just said, try to see things from a better perspective. Allow your visual cortex, your brain itself, to start seeing things more accurately. And if you have a difficult time seeing it accurately, even though you may not think you are, go share it with somebody else. Talk to someone else about what you see and what's going on. Now, the little things really probably don't matter, right? Is that a red bike or a garnet colored bike? Who cares? But when you turn the TV on and you see something on the news, they suppose things. Well, are you upset that Donald Trump hasn't done anything in his first 100 days? I'm not a Donald Trump supporter. I'm just saying it's on the news. They just told me that he hasn't done anything in the first 100 days, so I believe it. Now, if I believe it, then I'm going to carry that through to the next 100 days, all the way to the end of his tenure. And I always have this visual and perceptual indication of who he is and what he's doing. But it wasn't created by me, it was created by someone else. And I bought into it. Then my brain sees him. And every time I see his image, I hate him. And I hate him worse. And I hate him worse, and I hate him worse, and I hate him worse. Before you know it, you've just polluted someone else's life. Because now they hate him. And now you got two people that hate one person, which magnifies into 4, which goes to 8, which goes to 16, 32, 64, 128, 256. You get it? It just continues. And we wind up making shit out of our lives. Everybody around us is seeing it in a crappy and ugly way. And nobody does this better than the television and the media. Don't let it happen. Use your mind, stay individualized, and ask other people to help you, at least in conversation, how they see it. Give you a little better sense of interpretation. Therefore, at the very end of the day, your interpretations aren't skewed around what you see, because what you see is not the truth. How your brain constructs it is the truth. Have yourself an awesome week. I'm Dr. Peter Percoco. I'll see you next week on the Monday Morning Minute.